Mágad Cathaoirleach, and welcome, Minister. I'm very appreciative of the support and information that we've also got from Healthy Heart. They make a number of points. The gap in policy, the whole area of food in schools, marketing to children, and the whole area of families living on low incomes. And just to make take a couple of points from that in relation to school food, they're actually saying while school food accounts for a growing proportion of children's food intake, it's not subject to any national guideline or standard, despite the identification of obesity as a major threat to the current and future health of this generation of children. The haphazard approach to food provision also extends to the state-funded school meals local project scheme and the food school completion programme. They say these are excellent programmes, Minister, but they incorporate no mandatory requirement for the supply of healthier food options, and there is monitoring of the quality of food provided. And then when it comes to the whole area of marketing of foods high in fat, they have their Stop Targeting Kids petition is the latest step in their fight to protect children from obesity, following research published last summer, Who's Feeding the Kids Online. In that report, Irish Heart exposed how junk food companies were targeting children in a much more individualised way online than they could ever through television advertising. This is insidious and it is very dangerous, using high-tech analytics to target children. And people on low incomes, and I think we have to have a lot of regard and respect for the fact that a lot of people do live on low incomes. The latest research results from Childhood Obesity Surveillance Initiative, COSI, in Ireland reveals higher level of overweight and obesity in children from lower socio-economic backgrounds. Those attending DEIS schools tend to have higher levels of overweight and obesity than those attending other schools. There are some of the points that they're making. Let me move on to make a few other points. The first thing I want to say is that people who have, for whatever reason, a disposition to or an underlying cause for obesity, I think we have to have an appreciation and respect for that, as we do have to have respect for people who are obese. And I think it's very important not to be coming at any of this from a point of view of blame. I think there has to be challenge, but it must be respectful. Food is fuel for life. Our mothers knew that, yeah, and they didn't have to go and read it somewhere to find out. They did their best. It's fuel for our bodies. It's fuel for our minds. It's fuel for our spirit. It is not a commodity. I think this is the point. Food is not a commodity to be traded. It's the life and soul of the health of a nation, its children, its adults. I think it's very important to also not construct this debate as, well, you know, this is a first world problem. And then there's third world problems. Third world problems are often described as people not having enough food and decent food to live on because they're forced to produce cash crops and sell them to get hard currency. Then this, as a first world problem, is often what's said to us. I don't accept that. It has been allowed to become a problem in the first world because we haven't sufficiently treated food as an ingredient, a necessary ingredient to be healthy, and it has been too much seen or too easily seen as a commodity, and sure, you can have whatever you like and people have choice and all the rest of it. Look, the end of June last year something hit us called Brexit. It kind of came out of the blue, right? There is no way that anyone can say that the issue of childhood obesity has come out of the blue. We've known for decades this is the way we were going. And if you look at other countries around us, that trend was there. And I have spent my life working in the area of disability. I know where obesity leads. It leads to a whole range of conditions. Take just one, diabetes. Then you're next door to strokes, amputations, eye problems, etc. And ministers will hear, and I hear it too often from them, we'd love to be able to do more for people with disabilities, but we don't have the money. Here is an issue which is about stopping people developing disabling conditions of one kind or another. And I think it has to be seen as a major, investment. I want to just, in finishing up, the two things. I think there's a complete cultural change and a stepping up of the seriousness of this. And Minister, when you said that tackling obesity in childhood is a key priority, I don't doubt that for one moment. And I don't think there's anybody in this room or anywhere in the Oireachtas that aren't all agreed that this is an issue, whether for children or adults. We have some people who have views about climate change that differ. But I don't know there's anybody has any other view. So there's no row about the issue. But I think we really need to get serious in how it's dealt with. Cultural change is one of those things. Food is not a commodity. Supporting good behaviour. Right? The no-fry zones are one very practical, involving communities, that kids, the walking bus to school. The education is another area. And I want to just finish up, and I think public planning plays a huge role in this. Now, the planning that has happened has happened. The fact that we have a contest between being able to walk safely and roads for people and kids to go to school and whatever, they are real issues and we can't solve them overnight. I want to finish with this, and I'm going back 70 or more years. At the start of the Second World War, the people of Britain were told they would starve if they didn't double their food production. And they appealed to the farmers of Britain, and farmers, whether they're in Britain or Ireland, if they can produce more and sell more, they're up for it. But they actually replied and says, we cannot produce more. They finished up doubling their production. The point I'm making is, if you have to do something, you'll find a way to do it. The second point, child mortality in Britain after the Second World War, after rationing, after all of those things, had hugely improved from pre-war levels. Now think about that. They were rationing food. But they rationed it in a way. The women and the mothers got the milk. The children got the nutritious food. And there was a huge effort put into educating families. And I think we have to declare nothing short of a war on this issue and take it out of the hands of the market in the sense that it seems to be driven. Cathaoirleach, thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Senator.